Hello and welcome back to GP Video Podcast by Nadia. Today I'm going to share with you a news article that was published on February 17, 2025. This is regarding the medication called semaglutide, which is an anti-diabetic medication and a weight loss medication. The actual PBS approved brand is Ozempic, which is only reserved for diabetic patients, while the private brand is called Wegovy, which is the private brand for the medication called semaglutide. So Wegovy is used by people who want to lose weight, and it is purchased privately. It is on prescription for sure, but it is purchased privately, like it's not a PBS medication, while patients who are diabetics, type 2 diabetics, they get Ozempic both for their diabetes control, sugar control, and also weight loss. So I have spoken about this in my earlier podcasts a lot. I have made separate podcasts on separate medications for weight loss. Especially I've spoken a lot about semaglutide, which is Ozempic or Wegovy. And I've also told you before that they have a cardioprotective or a heart protective effect as well. But now I would like to read this news article for you that says that TGA, Therapeutic Goods Administration in Australia, have approved this weight loss drug or Wegovy or Ozempic or semaglutide for cardiovascular application as well. So, Novo Nordisk, the Danish pharmaceutical giant that makes Wegovy, says as many as 3.5 million Australians could be eligible to access its weight loss drug after the medicines regulator approved its use to treat heart conditions. The Therapeutic Goods Administration has approved Wegovy's application to treat cardiovascular disease in obese and overweight patients in Australia. The ruling broadens the applications in Australia for the blockbuster class of drugs known as GLP-1 beyond diabetes, which is what they were originally developed for, and obesity. Novo Nordisk also makes the popular drug Ozempic, which is taken by millions globally to lose weight. So, as you know, that GLP-1 agonists is one of the classes of anti-diabetic medications. So basic application is in controlling diabetes. Then number 2 is obesity. And now number 3 is to treat heart conditions. The TGA approval was made in December 2024 and confirmed by Novo Nordisk on Monday, and it was welcomed by pharmaceutical giants that hope regulatory approval for other applications beyond weight loss will boost their chances of winning taxpayer funding for the drugs under the PBS. So if it comes under the PBS, that's going to be such a huge step for us, because when we try and prescribe Wegovy, the biggest problem is the cost, as not many people can afford it. But if it comes under the PBS, that's going to be really good step. So yeah, I just wanted to share this news for you. So she said, so one of the representatives of the Novo Nordisk said that 4.5 million Australians had cardiovascular disease, and 78% of these people were obese or overweight. So they would be eligible for Wegovy under the TGA ruling. This would affect 3.5 million people based on Novo Nordisk's data. However, many Australians still cannot afford the drugs, which sell for between $345 and $645 per month. While I know that the smallest dose, which is 0.25 milligram, is around $250, and then it goes up in the prices as it goes up in the dosing. Without a PBS listing, which would mean the government funds the bulk of the cost. Only Ozempic is currently listed on the PBS to treat people with diabetes. There will be no issues with supply of Wegovy though. Whoever can buy it, there will be no issues because Ozempic is currently very short in market, even for the diabetics. So even the diabetics who are using Ozempic or semaglutide as their anti-diabetic medication, the ones who can afford it are just actually buying Wegovy as well. So they said that Novo Nordisk would be able to supply enough Wegovy in Australia for patients who needed it. Ozempic is expected to be in short supply in Australia until the end of this year, according to the TGA. There will be no issue with supply of Wegovy. We have worked hard for the past 2 years to ensure once we launch Wegovy here in Australia, patients will have access and continue with their treatment. Also, so experts said the study and recognition of the results by regulators showed that the cardiovascular benefits of semaglutide, the active ingredient in Wegovy, Ozempic, and Mounjaro extended beyond weight loss. So even Mounjaro, which is the tirzepatide, which is not only GL1 but GLP-1 agonist as well. So that is also not only for weight loss but also for cardiovascular. But currently, I think the only one which is approved for cardiovascular is Ozempic or Wegovy. Eli Lilly, the American company that makes a rival weight loss drug called Mounjaro, has also called for the obesity drugs to be listed on the PBS. So they are both on this front together, that these medications should be listed on the PBS. So this drug, which is Wegovy, also positively impacts inflammation, blood lipids, and blood pressure, which are all crucial in preventing heart attacks and strokes. So this is how it helps with the heart disease or with the heart health. So inflammation, because people who are obese, they usually have high levels of inflammation. They usually have high level of cholesterol and usually have high level of blood pressure, which is also known as metabolic syndrome. So this drug positively impacts all of that, which are all crucial in preventing heart attacks and strokes beyond its effects of lowering sugar and suppressing appetite. This approval highlights the critical role of overweight and obesity as major drivers of heart disease, on par with cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, and smoking. It reinforces that these risks can be actively reduced with targeted therapies, said cardiologist Dr. Stephen Nichols, the director of Monash University's Victorian Heart Institute and the Australian lead for the global study. So I think it also again reiterates the fact that how important the medications are for obese and overweight people. For us, I always fluctuate. So whenever I'm fluctuating, I actually ask my GP to prescribe me Wegovy again, because I am on Wegovy every now and then, because although I've had the weight loss surgery done, which is sleeve gastrectomy, but still after that, because stomach is like a pouch, though 90% of my stomach is gone, that was back in 2017, but still whenever I can overeat and I try and overeat, the stomach stretches like a balloon and it can go back to its original shape and size, which we don't want. So I also have to take the aid of weight loss medications. As you can see, I've already actually put on some weight in the last few months. So I'm using Wegovy at this stage to try and reduce my weight again, which is again going to be very helpful for my heart, for my obesity, for my overall health. And so is going to be for you all. See you guys in next podcast.